The world often imagines power in the form of armies, missiles, or towering economies, yet sometimes the true axis of global stability is a narrow stretch of water that appears almost insignificant on a map. The Strait of Hormuz is one such place. At its narrowest point, it spans barely 33 kilometers. Yet through this confined corridor flows nearly one-fifth of the world's petroleum supply. Every day, massive tankers move through this maritime choke point carrying energy that fuels industries, powers cities, drives transportation, and sustains modern life across continents. The Strait of Hormuz is not merely a geographic feature. It is a strategic artery of the global economy, a pressure point of geopolitical influence, and a reminder that the flow of energy is inseparable from the balance of power. Situated between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, the strait forms the only sea passage from the oil-rich Gulf states to the open ocean. To its north lies Iran, and to its south sit Oman and the United Arab Emirates. This positioning places the strait at the intersection of regional rivalries and international interests. Oil producers such as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and the UAE rely on this route to export their resources to global markets. Energy importing nations including China, India, Japan, and many European countries depend on its uninterrupted operation to sustain economic stability. The strait therefore operates not only as a physical passage but as a lifeline of interdependence linking producers and consumers across the world. The strategic importance of the Strait of Hormuz is rooted in both geography and economics. Geography makes it unavoidable. Economics makes it indispensable. Approximately 20 million barrels of oil pass through the strait each day, along with significant quantities of liquefied natural gas. This represents a substantial share of global energy trade. Any disruption to this flow can trigger immediate consequences in international markets, driving up prices and creating ripple effects across supply chains. The modern global economy, despite diversification efforts in renewable energy growth, remains deeply sensitive to energy availability. The strait therefore functions as a valve controlling the pressure of global commerce. Historically, the significance of the strait has evolved alongside the rise of industrialization and the expansion of maritime trade. Prior to the 20th century, its role was regional, facilitating trade between Gulf ports and neighboring territories. However, the discovery of vast oil reserves in the Middle East transformed its importance dramatically. As petroleum became the dominant energy source for transportation and industry, the Strait of Hormuz emerged as a critical conduit. Tanker traffic increased, infrastructure developed, and global attention turned towards safeguarding this passage. From a scientific and logistical perspective, managing such a high volume of maritime traffic is a complex task that requires careful planning, coordination, and management. Through a relatively narrow channel requires precise coordination. Shipping lanes are carefully structured into inbound and outbound corridors separated by buffer zones. Advanced navigation systems, satellite monitoring, and maritime traffic management play essential roles in ensuring safe transit. The physics of large tanker movement adds further complexity. Fully loaded supertankers possess immense inertia, requiring significant distance to alter course or reduce speed. Navigational precision is therefore essential to prevent collisions and environmental hazards. The environmental dimension of the strait cannot be overlooked. Its waters support marine ecosystems that coexist alongside intense industrial activity. Oil spills, accidental or deliberate, pose serious risks to biodiversity. The confined nature of the waterway means pollutants can spread rapidly and persist. Scientific monitoring of water quality, currents, and ecological health is crucial for mitigating long-term damage. Oceanographic studies also reveal how tidal patterns and water exchange between the Gulf and the open ocean influence salinity and temperature gradients. These physical processes affect both marine life and the dispersion of potential contaminants. Strategically, the Strait of Hormuz represents both vulnerability and leverage. For energy exporting nations, it is a gateway to markets and revenue. For importing nations, it is a potential point of instability. This duality creates a complex web of interests involving regional powers and international actors. Naval presence from various countries underscores the importance placed on ensuring freedom of navigation. Maritime security operations focus on protecting commercial vessels from threats such as piracy, sabotage, or conflict escalation. Technological advancements have introduced new dimensions to the strait's security landscape. Surveillance systems, unmanned aerial vehicles, and satellite reconnaissance enhance situational awareness. Cybersecurity has also become relevant as modern shipping relies heavily on digital navigation and communication systems. The integration of science and strategy is evident in how data analysis, predictive modeling, and environmental monitoring contribute to maintaining stability. From a motivational perspective, the Strait of Hormuz illustrates how interconnected the modern world has become. A narrow passage thousands of kilometers away can influence fuel prices, transportation costs, and economic growth across distant nations. It demonstrates the importance of cooperation, resilience, and foresight in managing shared resources.
Stability in such regions depends not solely on military strength but on diplomacy, technological innovation, and scientific understanding. Energy transition discussions often highlight the need to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Yet the present reality underscores the continued relevance of the strait. Renewable energy expansion is gradual and global.
Demand for oil and gas remains substantial. Understanding the strategic dynamics of this passage therefore remains essential for policymakers, scientists, and industry leaders alike. The Strait of Hormuz is more than a shipping route. It is a symbol of how geography can shape destiny. Its narrow waters carry the weight of global energy security. Its currents reflect the interplay of natural forces and human ambition. Its significance reminds us that progress depends on managing critical infrastructures responsibly and collaboratively. In documentary perspective, the strait stands as a focal point where science, economics, and geopolitics converge. Its stability influences markets. Its safety protects ecosystems. Its openness sustains trade. Of modern civilization balances risk and necessity. This narrow channel teaches a broader lesson that power does not always reside in vast territories or visible monuments. Sometimes it resides in the quiet persistence of movement through constrained space. The Strait of Hormuz embodies this principle. It channels energy that powers industries, connects nations, and shapes global equilibrium.